Hello everybody, this is Juntes. Today I'm going to be recapping all the builds that I've done in the last year or so. See this as a way to get inspiration for your own, ideas for build making and so forth. Maybe you're going to start on the ladder again, etc. This is also going to be crowning, the best builds that I've done in recent months and so forth. Because there's actually been a lot of cool builds that I've shown just the last year or so. So let's get to it. The coolest build that I have probably done in the last year or so is definitely the Tesla Paladin. Now, a Paladin build, it's often just regarded, oh well, Hammer Paladin or Sealed Smite Paladin or maybe some Charged Paladin for PvP. But this felt unique enough to actually warrant the cool spot, the first build that I want to mention. And I'm just gonna quickly go into the game now, and you can kind of just see the gear. It revolves around having a bit of faster cast rate, so I'm able to teleport really fast, and then of course using dual dream, so I get decent AoE from conviction as well. And then just normal melee gear, stuff like no Ravenfrost wings also makes it pretty unique. We could have gone with Ravenfrost wing, but I needed some way to leech. And then I'm using these really awesome gloves here. I know it's gonna be like, what? But they really do work. So this is definitely the build that I want to say is the coolest build that I've done recently. Again, it's pretty much just a dual dream grief seal build, but it really just works so well with the whole survival, AoE, decent teleport speed, and so forth. So next up is the Sealed Sorceress. This took forever to get smart on. This is the third variation that I did. So I have actually 3 builds for it, but I settled on this one with a stupidly expensive socketed armor and so forth. But like if you already have the wealth, you already have the time, and you are okay with, subpar performance or, the time, the wealth spent it, this is definitely the build to go for. If you want something you've never really done before that is actually hard to make, this is the way to go, because I have never done a harder build than the Sealed Sorceress. Sure, there are guides out there you can mimic and so forth, but it still just comes down to your own preferences, how you want the build to work, and also just how you see yourself using it, because some people maybe like it more defensive, others like it more offensive and so forth. So very nice build to try out. And then this one, the Poison Over Necromancer, I was really just happy to remake it. Stacking a high amount of minus resist is just really cool. I guess I can just really fast try to, there goes. I'm using the 3 parts triangle, gloves, belt, and shield. And then I'm using, decent faster cast rate amulet with 20% to get some really good faster cast rate. Poison Over Necromancer, everyone has probably made one, but I really feel like this was a cool build that I finally got to remake on live servers and everything. And then the Rift Assassin. I'm not sure why I ended up liking this one so much, but there was just something about this build that was absolutely cool. All items are just so unique. You never really use them on any other builds. Like you're mixing sorceress gear such as the Nightwing's Veil together with like the Doomgut's belt, the Rift Woundward, and a very special shield as well. This is not a spirit, this is a socketed monarch with the cold facets. Like there's just so many cool variations of the build, I suppose. But another really sweet thing is also just how explosive and fast and easy it is to play, while it just looks flashy as hell with all those frozen orbs going around. So if you're looking for an assassin build that is very much flashy and cool and actually performs really well, go with the Rift Assassin build. However, just a warning, it sucks ass to get the weapon for it. That it's just not fun. I'll probably just pop up a screen now of the weapon or whatever. But getting the weapon here at the Rift Woundward in a War Scepter, that sucked ass. Really had to look for long. So if you're like new on ladder or you don't have a lot of wealth on non-ladder or whatever, you should definitely see if you can even get the weapon first, because the rest of the gear is doable to get. It's not too bad. And now then, the Frozen Oven Fireball. This was probably the coolest range build that I did in recent times. It is so offensive, so explosive, so much damage in single target. The only thing it really doesn't have is, yeah, I wouldn't say it has the best AoE. It also lacks a bit of survival, but it has one of the highest, if not the highest, single target damage. At least when you're not facing cold or fire immunes, which is of course halving its damage very drastically. But yeah, that's hell difficulty for you. So if you're looking for like a standard ranged sorceress build in Diablo 2 that has all the things you kinda expect out of a sorceress build with end game gear, this is probably the way to go. And then I also just wanted to mention the Furry Paladin, which I did recently. It was a lot of fun, just messing around with something you've never really done before. Actually getting it to work really well and showing it off in hell was fun. So yeah, if you haven't really done anything at low levels, maybe consider that, because it's a different way to play the game. And like I once actually did 2 or 3 times in World of Warcraft where I twinked characters just for the fun of it. I think everyone who played World of Warcraft for a long time probably made like a twink rogue or whatever. But yeah, this was a fun experiment and I quite liked it. And then these 2 Amazon builds here. First the fire one and the frozen one. Both very unique. You don't see them online a lot. However, the frozen one was the best one. It's just quite expensive to get the ice rune word, but if you can get that one, it's pretty cool. However, I don't know if you could say they're better than I should also mention again, even like a strafe heiress on a budget, but they're still really, really cool builds. So if you're looking for a bow Amazon build that is not played a lot online and so forth, this is probably the way to go. Just decide whether you like frost or fire, because they're both, they both have their drawbacks. Overall, I would say that the frost build is better, however, so yeah, decide on that. And then another kicker assassin, kinda like the Rift Assassin, just with fire traps this time. Yeah, it's not as good, but it's still really good. Overall, it doesn't lack anything. Like you can see, the mobs are pretty killed fast enough. Yeah, I can't even remember how fast I did the Chaos run in. I think it was like, let's just see how slow it actually went, since I did time this one. Yeah, okay, this one was like 4.5 minutes. But still, a Chaos run in 4 minutes with a rare assassin build that I have actually never seen online. That's pretty cool. So if you didn't really like the Rift Assassin build, maybe you couldn't get the gear for it, because again the Rift Wound was pretty hard to get. You should probably get this one, because the gear overall on the build here is not too bad. I'm using Stormlash, the unique weapon, as Storm Shield, and yeah, I don't really remember the helm and so forth. There's a few items now I can't quite. Oh yeah, I was using this really expensive socketed helm, but besides that, it's not too bad, the gear. So if you couldn't get the Rift Assassin gear, go for this one. And then 2 set items for some more budget oriented fun. The Avenger Paladin build was actually fun. It just lacks AoE, and like if you can't deal with slow AoE, let's see if I can find some gameplay really fast. You shouldn't make it, cause the AoE was just not really good at all. It's basically just single target, as you can see here. I'm out of mana. The AoE is the biggest problem of the build, but utilizing Griswold's shield in such a way that you can actually solo hell with it easily, that's pretty cool. And I haven't really seen a lot of Griswold Paladins builds online. And then the Elder set, Fireclaw. I had actually never done a melee druid build besides the fur druid, so it was fun to utilize both the Elder sets, which I also never used, and then actually making a melee druid build. Let's see where the gameplay was. I do believe that the AoE was okay, but the survival was maybe just a bit lacking. We can just quickly showcase a bit of gameplay here as well. you can see that it's basically just single target, but a massive amount. I can't remember how much damage it actually is on the sheet, but suffice to say, it's a lot of single target damage, and it does kill bosses pretty fast. However, of course, using Eldritch set is budget. You can get better items than using Eldritch for Firecloud Druid. I just wanted to utilize the Druid set for actually using it for once, because I had never really done a build on it before. And then the Wine Druid here. Honestly, everyone should probably end up making Wine Druid at some point. It's just getting, either a 99 setup or 163 99 setup that kind of, separates players, because it's very expensive, or at least can be, to get 163 faster cast rate. I can actually just try to kind of memorize the gear. I think I was using a faster cast rate ring, and then a Stone of Jordan, Eve, Sandstorm Tricks, Hotu, Spirit Shield 35, 20 faster cast rate, and I think it was like a 20 faster cast rate amulet as well. So yeah, a lot of faster cast rate on this gear here, which can be pretty hard to get early on in ladder and so forth, but it's just so strong overall. This build really just has everything. It's also a bit easier to play than, say, Furry Paladin. It's basically the same rotation where you're tail stomping mobs, because you have to tail stomp mobs to aim with Whirlwind. But yeah, or Tornado even. But honestly, this build just has everything. So if you're looking for a druid build that is, very standard, very meta, everyone has probably made one, you should consider this one, because it can do, can rush really good, it survives really well, and it can solo every single content in the game with ease. There's nothing that really stops it. So overall, this is very, in-game standard meta tier build, but I really did enjoy making one. And then lastly, my Necro Summoner guide. I did fail a bit at part 2, where I did solo Ubers with it, or nearly, but that was just, poor gameplay, I suppose. But yeah, Nova Necromancer Summoner is probably a build that's done a lot on ladder reset, because it's so easy to play a Fishermancer, which I also showed off in a recent video, which I did for hardcore as a Fishermancer. But this build with Beast kind of takes the Necro Summoner to a whole new level. So Homunculus with max block, I think it was, or at least a high amount of block. Marus Walk boots, a special helm, Beast Woundward, some faster cast rate items and so forth. This build is just so nice with Beast Woundward. The summons just gets to be so overpowered here at the end. So if you're looking for, if you're already for some reason perhaps made a Necro Summoner guide for ladder reset, budget oriented and whatnot, and you want to take it to the next level, feel free to check this one out, because the Necro Summoner guide is I would say this is probably one of the better guides that I've done. It's also probably the longest, but I felt like this guide was made pretty well, and you can also see the part 2 for in-depth gameplay, trying to do Ubers with it, which it can easily do if you are not playing as poorly as I did in the part 2. But that's pretty much rounds up this part, which I would like to call, inspirational part, where you can kind of get ideas on the builds that I did in the last year or so. But for now, let's move on to the actual ranking. What are the best builds that I've probably ever done? So maybe I'm just boring, but the easier and more simple a build is to play, the more I enjoy it. I don't know why that is for Diablo 2, but I just feel like that has been the case for a very long time for me. And the Sealed Paladin build, which I talked about at the start of the video here, is definitely the, probably the best melee build I have ever made, or ever done, or ever seen, whatever, in Diablo 2. I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, Whirlwind Barb, or Furry Druid, or like a Kick Assassin, or I don't know, something. But I feel like this build is the best melee PvM build in Diablo 2. I have never felt like I have been stronger on any melee builds than this one. The survival is off the charts, even if it doesn't have life tap proc or whatever. Basically just have a bit of leech from the ring, but it's still just so bulky, and like easy cap survival, good lightning resistance cap above that. Yeah, I just cannot say that this build isn't great, and like it can even do Ubers. You just have to, switch on Smite, maybe change out a few gear, stuff like, yeah, maybe not use so much faster cast rate stuff like using Enigma. Perhaps you have to switch out the Dream stuff as well, and then it can easily do Ubers without respeccing. Well, that's not really, anything amazing that it can do Ubers, but I just kind of wanted to mention that this build is just the best melee build in Diablo 2 period, and I would like to get a common discussion going about that. What do you see as the best melee build in Diablo 2? Because for me, there has never been a more clear choice. And again, you can see my other melee builds on the channel, such as my Furry Druid or my Whirlwind Barb and so forth. Like I have some really good gear on those as well. So it's not because I didn't have the budget to make them pretty overpowered gear-wise. So yeah, like you can just see the AoE here. It's just so nice to see. They just die. Okay, they don't die fast, but like it's happening. The AoE is just real. It's really, really sweet. Yeah, I'm just madly in love with this build again. It's so simple to play. You basically just use 2 free bots and switch between Conviction and Teleport, and then you seal. Very sweet build. Okay, so next up had to be the Yavason. This build, everyone loves the Yavason, and it's for a good reason. I have tailored mine to, the specific use case which I like. Again, simplified build. Using Phoenix Runeword just gives a nice amount of mana regen, and it's just fun with the Redemption aura. And then on Switch I went with Wizard Spike and Spirit to have, really, really great teleport speed without having to use any faster cast rate gear, which would have nerfed the damage. Okay, to use Griffin, but yeah, anywho. This build, it's just everything I wanted from Yavason. As you can see, the gear is also pretty high-end, so yeah, I should probably replace the stupid bug belt one day, but well, if it proves, I'll probably replace it. And then recently I did get some Trivis boots, so you can see that even the resistance is really good nowadays. Cold is almost maxed, and then lightning and fire way above that. It's just, I love this build right now, and the Yavason is just one of the better ones that I could think for an overall winner of a PVM build. Still using also my faster run walk Grand Charms, just so I have faster run walk together with 30% faster run walk on that one, 45% from the Enigma. I love this build, and yeah, everyone has probably made a Yavason, and it's a bit boring, but it just works so brilliantly. Again, it's also really easy to play, especially again with the Redemption Flash Shield instead of using a Monarch 2020. Like that would give more damage, but I don't even have to use mana potions now. It's just really sweet. Because without the Flash Redemption build, obviously I have to use a bit more mana potions and whatnot. Another thing is also, of course, this is a standard Infinity build. Without Infinity on the Mercy Chant, it's not really gonna work out. Let's see these gloves here. Okay, Grey Palm, they're always fun. But yeah, this just had to be on the list for, one of the better builds that I've ever made. Cause I love this build right now. It's so strong, and it can do everything. Especially also just because it has really fast teleport speed now. So yeah, the only thing it probably can't do in this current gear is Magic Find, because it doesn't really have a lot of that, but besides that, it does everything really greatly. And then here at the end, of course I had to include the 200% fast cast rate Nova Sorceress. Now, there are certain builds that I don't like because it's just too speedy, and one of the builds I don't really prefer to play is a Frenzy Barb with the crazy run speed, and I just feel like the game is not really made for that sort of a run speed. I don't know if I'm just getting too old to play with such speed, but I feel like I can still enjoy the crazy frantic teleport speed that this build can offer you. Of course, this is a very much end-game build. The gear on it is really hard to get. I can perhaps just mention a few things. The mana boots, while not necessary, you can go with Silkweave, they really do matter a lot. Getting, stuff like the Ormus one here, Oh, this is gonna be a problem, at least on ladder reset and whatnot, getting a 15% lightning free Nova armors. Griffins is also, of course, always expensive, and then obviously the amulet here can be a pain in the ass. This one is not even that good a roll, but it was still expensive enough to get. And yeah, of course, some inventory that can also run up a lot, because again, lightning skills are always so expensive. And yeah, very much endgame build, but what you get out of it is absolutely insane. You get crazy survival, at least for a ranged build. This is probably one of the most tanky ones, because energy shield just works so well. You get probably one of the highest AoE damage in the game. I can't really think of anything it can't clear really fast. There's also not really anything it can't do. It can even do magic find somewhat if you were willing to. Oh, and I was actually running around in. I was actually running around in the wrong gear. But yeah, I was saying it could also probably do magic find if you were willing to go without call to arms. That would probably be a bit hard to do, but you could do that as well. I just wouldn't really recommend it, perhaps, but yeah, now I'm cursed, so it's gonna hurt a little bit. But I really wouldn't recommend perhaps going with that sort of setup. Yeah, overall, didn't really show it off really well here, but overall, this build probably is a more an end game sort of build. For those who also enjoy a more frantic and hectic gameplay, because some people are probably not always gonna enjoy such fast, teleporting speed and so forth. But yeah, let's just do a really classic one here. It's just really satisfying to be this fast. I can't really find anything wrong with it except the cost, and yeah, it's maybe also a bit meta, a bit boring, because everyone has probably at least made a lightning sorceress, or maybe even made a Nova lightning sorceress before. But if you wanted like the true best PVM melee, or yeah, somewhat melee, still somewhat tanky sorceress build, this would probably be the way to go. I definitely enjoy playing this one every time I log on to it, because it's just a lot of fun being this fast and flashy. And to just get a tied fourth spot for the last build I wanted to conclude is either the Furry Druid or my Hammer Paladin. Now everyone has made a Hammer Paladin, everyone knows that it's a really strong overall build, but I felt like the variation that I did, obviously that was a bit hated on. A lot of people didn't really understand the whole point of using a Crown of Ages, but I felt like that made it unique and somewhat special compared to what you would find else. So I quite enjoyed the Hammer Paladin experience, getting the gear together and everything. But I wanted to just kind of again include the Furry Druid here, a bit of gameplay for that one. Oh, and that game was of course taken. But yeah, the Furry Druid with the Tomb Reaver and decent teleport speed on Switch, it's just really sweet. Sort of like the Seal Paladin, just a bit worse, I suppose. Also, again, using something like this build here was pretty fun to switch to. Yeah, it's very much like the Seal Paladin build, I suppose, but I really did enjoy it. It's also kind of a fun build to make, I would say. We can just quickly perhaps show a bit of fun here. So yeah, Feral Rage and Furry, it's very simple build to make as well. Could also perhaps go with Rapies sometimes, but I talked about that before, where Rapies is not really worth it. So for the most part it's just Furry. And Furry just does so much damage. It's easily one-shotting mobs. So we can just quickly show it down here. I really just like these simple melee builds that doesn't have a very hectic rotation. It's kind of like, Whirlwind Bob that is actually hard to play. The difference between a bad played Whirl Bob and a good Whirl Bob is actually a lot, because the rotation for spinning around in a good triangle formation is kind of huge. Whereas the Seal Paladin, or this one, is very easy to play. I would also say the gear on this build is actually not too bad. If you can just manage to get a Tomb Reaver, which I guess is doable to get on ladder at least. It's of course harder to get on non-ladder, which I play on. But yeah, it's a letter only drop if I remember correct. But yeah, it's just really sweet. Oh, and also just to brag here at the end, 16k furry damage. It's pretty sweet. So I guess with like perfect gear and weird setup and maybe better charms and so forth, you could probably reach like 17k max damage on furry, which is pretty insane. But yeah, this is definitely the list I wanted to kind of make for a while now, because I feel like this also gives a lot of inspiration for people who maybe haven't watched all the videos I did recently for guides and so forth. Because I did a lot of builds this year, and I feel like the builds that I also showed off here at the end, these 4-ish builds, are probably the best overall. You know, for different use cases, because like that's also the cool thing with Diablo 2. There are no builds that are the best for a specific case. Like a lot of people are maybe just gonna say a Hammer Paladin with like perfect endgame gear is just, yeah, it's just the best, but I wouldn't say that is necessarily the truth. However, if you're botting, I would say that's the best, because for some reason bots are just amazing at tail stomping and so forth. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Anywho, that's just perhaps my opinion. I'm actually saying that an AI, a bot, is better than an actual player, but I always felt like that was the case for a Hammer Paladin. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this one, because I've been meaning to make it for a while now, and I feel like, almost at the end of the year, New Year's Eve and whatever, it's a good time to kind of make it, because, yeah, I kind of wished I had seen such a guide myself, or video myself, like 2 or 3 years ago, and was wondering, oh, what to do next, what build should I do then? And in the end, I just had to scour the internet for quite a while to get inspiration for my next builds and so forth, because it can be hard to kind of, get ideas for a build that you haven't done before in such an old game where you feel like you have already done everything yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much it, so I don't want to make it any longer than this. Feel free to comment again about like all the different builds that I showed off, and especially also like what is the best melee build, which I talked about at an earlier part in the video for the Sealed Paladin. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.